The other aspect of healing and free energy and communicating with our off-world neighbors is having a clarity of intention. What is it that we want? Could we leapfrog criticism and fear and get to the dang point? How would you like things to be? When you have somebody approach you, and I was bitching and moaning today about cars and energy and why are we still having internal combustion, I'm learning that I have to stop myself and right away say, what is it that I want? I want to be able to teleport anywhere in the world at any given time. I want to live in a world that I have an option for inverse gravity, or teleportation, or astral travel, or drive a Porsche if I want to. That is more powerful than the bitching and moaning. That is more powerful than the rage and the anger. One of the things that we experienced today is that we got stopped in revision. Now they have an X-ray machine that looks like a transformer with an archway of solid blocks of metal. Do you think you want to walk through that? And the guy said, oh, it's about 1,000 times less potent than a dental X-ray. A dental X-ray machine is about this big. This monster is an archway that a whole car fits through. I don't think so. So Carla said, no, let's put a little energy field around us to protect us, right? Our intention is to get through this. And I could visualize that beautiful sphere of light protecting our car and our bodies. That's what this is about. Because Gaia will not give up her secrets unless we are clear about our intention. Because the number one rule with free energy and healing is that it has to be a request of benevolence. It cannot be weaponized, this new energy. That's a huge, huge shift. So as soon as you're thinking, well, I'm going to make money on this, and I'm going to control governments, and I'm going to enslave certain people to buy my energy, the formulas don't work anymore. The science breaks down. The experiments in the microscopes seem to not respond. When they're breaking down the genome, their intention was to know the rules of making human life, or any life, through proteins. If we understand the sequence of proteins, we can assemble proteins in any way. What did we get out of almost $1 trillion spent on the Genome Project? We got 3% of the genetic code documented. That leaves 97% information we don't know anything about. And you know what the scientists, they know it does something, they're just not quite sure. It looks like noise. It looks like random noise. There's DNA protein, and then there's energy and magnetic fields. But there's conscious scientists who right away know that that 97% is divine quantum intelligence tied to the tree of life. And the reason that the rest of the genome works is because of the instructions that come from that 97%. The universe talks to us through quantum energy. And if your intention is not clear, it won't be revealed to you. What do you think about that for the new science? Here's a simple formula. The specific energy that you are, your individual signature, plus the consciousness in the universe, which is the field of life, those two together make up this right here. It's simple as that. If you were to look at the table of elements they teach us in chemistry, where is dreaming in there? Where are emotions in there? It's not made out of helium or... Do you ever wonder why we have such a discrepancy? That's how we're teaching reality to our kids. It's made up of just elements. This, I'm finding, is more real. The truth of who and what we are is more tangible than matter. Another aspect that has got to be part of our toolkit of free energy and healing, this engines of mass creation, is to unlock that capability of envisioning. We have to let kids be as imaginative as ever. Don't we all have stories from school when you had a cool idea and your teacher just, be quiet. That's not in the book, right? I remember one time when I was little, the teacher asked, well, what do we think computers are going to be like in the future? And I said, we're not going to have computers. They're going to disappear. And the teacher goes, what do you mean? I said, we're going to be computing with molecules. We're going to be tapping into the computing power of the oceans, the atmosphere. And she's like, what planet are you from? I was just talking about, are we going to have laptops, right? The number one complaint I hear about advanced kids, which are known as indigo crystal kids, is that they're being ignored. They're being shut down. Their ideas are so crazy. They're not allowed to do this. I have a friend right now attending Singularity University in San Francisco. It's a short program of 3 months being run by the top technology companies on the planet, like Google and Microsoft and NASA. It's in a heavy immersion program. They're being asked to come up with paradigms for the future. How far can you take your vision? Could you imagine thinking about extraterrestrials and talking about that in public at Singularity University? Do you think that's allowed? At NASA, we can't talk about aliens? What the hell kind of envision are we going to be doing? That's the reality of where we live. The other rule, or you might say the entrance exam to connect with universal energy and universal healing, is your participation in expanding creation. That means wherever you are in your life, your passion from inside unfolds around you, and you love what you do. If you work at a job that you hate, you're automatically going to be missing out on the possibilities of the universe because you're not living your authentic joy. Imagine teaching this to engineering students, or to lawyers, or to doctors. Do you think it's too touchy-feely? What if the rules of engagement for healing in medicine had to do with connecting patients with their joy? That is a huge leap for humanity. To put that in front and build a physics and a math and a project management software at Microsoft to do this kind of work. The second aspect about expanding creation, wherever you go, is allowing the world to unfold without putting so much meaning into the unfolding. Meaning if something really crappy happens to you in one day, in spirituality we say, look for the gift and the learning in that situation. Don't you hate hearing that right away? I do sometimes. But what if we are part of this video game of the universe? And one of the rules is that we are asked to forget who we are, that we are masters of the universe, that we know the rules. But you can't learn the levels if you don't allow things to be as they are and accept them as perfect as they are. Because I'll tell you what, you walk into a desert and there's energy and healing and cosmic awareness in the desert. You take a spaceship and go into orbit, into what we think is the vacuum. Every square inch of space has intelligence and life and energy and healing. That's part of this allowance and recognizing the magic of what's around us.
When you talked about computing, you were describing quantum computing, because that's what they do. They look at the molecules and see which way it rotates. And that's quantum computing. You can't even see it.
That's true. Remember those two words I said about entanglement and superposition? Imagine you had a laptop that, by the way, never ever needed to be plugged in, never needed a battery. It runs forever, perpetually. And this device, which by the way doesn't have to look like a clamshell, it could just be a grouping of energy that could project holographically any image floating in front of you, had access to the position of every molecule in the universe. That's how big the memory could be. Because when we say infinite in quantum, we mean infinite, infinite. In Spanish, in Mexico, we have right now, and right now, right now. Have you guys ever heard that? If you're at home and your buddy goes, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" "Oh, right now I'm doing nothing." "Can you help me with my transmission?" "Oh, you mean right now, right now?" "Oh, I'm busy right now." So when we say infinite, infinite, there's enough space in these quantum computers to store all of the internet, all of the web pages, and transfer them instantly. Does that blow your mind? How do you feel about the idea of bringing spirituality, the language of connection, the more holistic viewpoint to everyday life and to these careers that we're right now professing to be advanced? What do you think about changing the language? Do you know that when you study law, you have to study ethics, right? I would like doctors and engineers to study aesthetics, to study art in a whole different way. Because the creations for this next generation have to be art, artistic, beautiful, inspiring, passionate. We can't just keep building little electronic boxes that have no connection to our bodies, right? Did you ever wonder why we don't have artificial intelligence yet? Why we don't have computers that understand speech seamlessly or are able to generate emotions? It's because our engineering, our scientific practices, our business practice do not embrace the language of this connection of consciousness. I can't remember which slide is next. Yes, sonic Reiki. One of the technologies that I started developing was using sound resonance to heal the body. I was fascinated by practitioners that chanted and used crystal bowls and didgeridoos, and this has been done for thousands of years. But knowing what I know about modern bodies is that we have built this plaque around our cells and in our thoughts that make it really hard for the beautiful chanting and shamanic practices. It's harder now to get to you. I mean, we have bodies that have been through hell. So I developed something called sonic Reiki. And I'm very happy to have Yoshiko here, who has been a huge inspiration to me to get my play toys out there and make them really relevant to people. So Yoshiko and I went to several locations in LA, and we've even done it here, and tested our sonic Reiki system. And we have two speakers back there. We'll let you play with them. It's a combination of magnetics, crystal, light, sound, aroma, using all the modalities of energy and consciousness. So I'm going to let you watch this video. This is traditional Reiki using sound. This is using sound frequencies. So the first stage in sonic Reiki is to add the imagery, what I mentioned about the geometry. And this is our lovely subject, Yoshiko. Doesn't it just look cool? What would it take to talk to your DNA at a deep, deep level? I designed sonic Reiki initially as an art installation for the light body. Here we are at a clinic in LA that specializes in physical rehab for sports athletes and also performing artists. And she is the main teacher, who was skeptical, right, Yoshiko, when we started? So we placed these speakers on the body. They have a crystal. And what you're hearing is what plays inside your body. And the graphics are generated by this software that listens and interprets the sound. This is tapping into the free energy of your body to heal itself and to the knowledge of how the body communicates with your cells. Right there, she was telling us that her range of motion on her damaged rotator cuff was already getting better after minutes. This is another practitioner who said, I got to try this. And the geometry is projected on your body, the fractal curves, the holographic images that are three-dimensional. This is me structuring water with the same technology, with light and sound resonance. And this is what plays through the water. That's projected on the wall. And of course, I'm also putting my intention of healing into the water. So they drink it and they feel it. I mean, I've seen people get goosebumps from these treatments, right upon first impact. Here is another one at our labs where we have other people. We teach them how to do it, and they do it to each other. This is a couple, and they are healing each other. And what you're hearing is what's playing inside their bodies. We use tones that are recorded inside the Great Pyramid in Egypt, which are the same frequencies being used in the Large Hadron Collider that generates 1 billion watts of energy. What do you guys think about that? Sonic Reiki. This is a product that we've developed that is real. We've had an ability to experiment on our friends. And when I say friends, we have friends that have cancer, that have injury, that have depression, and Sonic Reiki under one 12-minute session. Carla, didn't we have your friend Christine here? Tell us a little bit about her case.
Well, I think the most profound thing about that was that we had those particular tones and the hymns, and then we also had her loved ones, her congregation, to speak into a speaker, which then quantumly got layered on top of all the other things and went into her body as well.
One of the things that we do with Sonic Reiki is we record your voice speaking to your body. What would you say to your body if you knew it was listening? The minute we ask somebody that, they're not sure what to do the first time with Sonic Reiki, because they go, what am I supposed to say? I love you. I forgive you for the pain you've caused me. I'm ready to be healed. I'm ready to reclaim new tissue, a cancer-free bloodstream. Do you know that your body is more intelligent than what you think is your consciousness? There is more wisdom in your DNA than what you can think about. Doesn't matter what your background is. Don't you think that body wants you to talk to it? The natural elements that are waiting for us to pull out the free energy are also conscious and intelligent. The quantum energy, the magnetic fields, the crystal, the water, the sound. They're waiting for us to wake up. Isn't that cool? This is a cave in Tibet where monks go meditate. And what you're hearing is the actual sound inside the cave from the center of the earth. Recording of about 20 minutes that I meditate to. And when you hear the sound with headphones, there's layers and layers of information in there. This is like nature's Sonic Reiki. Every single stone inside that cave resonates with the frequencies coming from the wind and magnetic fields. It's a secret cave in Tibet. Russian scientists brought recording equipment way down deep in there. This is what you're listening to. You remember seeing the hippies with their crystals in the 60s, you know, their quartz. Did you know that crystals, whenever you squeeze them, like a quartz crystal, you apply pressure to them, they put out an electric signal? You remember records, the vinyl records? There was a little needle made out of a crystal that vibrates when you put it through the grooves, and it turns it into electricity. Isn't it magic that we have rocks that turn pressure into a signal? They talk. Our crystals inside our computers that measure the speed, like 3 gigahertz, are conscious, living entities that want to work with us. But what do? We enslave them to just keep time. Anyway, what do you guys think of the secret cave? Those aren't special effects. That's how it was recorded. It's got these orchestra, like an organ of tones. This is an art program of conscious art technology for kids. I'll let you watch a little bit. This was done as a prototype in Carlsbad. We call them Star Kids. Somehow it was all girls that first time.
I put people explore dolphins.
And show them to everybody so they can see them. Can anybody see her word?
I did ducks love nature because,
Go.
Star, canyon, sun, healing, earth, oneness.
Light Comet is the name of the program. Light Conscious Media Technology. We teach them quantum video, how to project their bodies multiple dimensions. We practice mental telepathy, telekinesis, nonverbal communication. We teach them about what other kids are doing to change the world. And then we teach how to focus your thoughts, have pure intention. If you could write a letter to the moon or to the sun, what would you say?
And letting us play in you. I'm sorry that we polluted you, but we will make it better.
On your very first paper, then we teach them shock therapy, you might say, to break out of that creativity that was beat out of them from school. 1 minute. Just go crazy with color and lines and just unleash.
Oh my gosh, come on!
Look at that beautiful way. And the music that you're hearing is exactly the music we were playing. Trance, electronic. Because the teacher likes it.
And what it is when you feel like you're not feeling too good, you're feeling a little bit scared, you can visualize that thing that's making you scared go away.
Tools for releasing fear.
Whoa.
First we teach them that they can project their fear into a bubble and send it away. And then we teach them how to do it without the bubble.
You gotta breathe out, letting the bubbles out of your mouth. Okay, so every time you breathe in, imagine you've been taking in positive light energy into your body.
This is Bijal Parmar, one of our instructors and co-founder. Then we take it another step further with envisioning. We ask them to paint images. This particular exercise is to draw as fast as you can the funniest things that you can come up with and see if you can make people laugh. Then they get to choose a natural element like water, earth, fire, and they have to draw it and write a letter to it and learn to work with it, kind of like the X-Men.
Then I did a star because you always think a shooting star when you think.
Dolphins have so much energy. I wanted the rainbow. I wanted rainbow and my picture is about.
And then we put them inside their artwork. We teach them how to do media, like virtual reality, so they can take their paintings and they go inside their paintings.
I'm from Encinitas, California, and I have the power to change the world. I have the power to change the world. And I have the power to change the world. I have
Self-programming.
the power to change.
And then we take their visualization and turn them into reality. She wanted to learn how to play with light and then also work with water.
I promise that I will make a difference by picking
Look at the
up
quality of their
trash,
artwork.
saving water, respecting nature, and being kind to animals.
Dear Rain, I appreciate it when you fall down and create puddles for children to play in.
Anyway, that's the Light Comet Star Kids program. What do you think? I'm going to keep an eye on some of these girls to see when they graduate from high school. I'm ready to hire them. This is what the parents were thinking about the programs. The girl ahead of these parents, Callie, was very shy. She didn't speak at all. Turns out she was the one that we couldn't get her off camera later. This is another project we're involved in called UFO Night Vision Skywatch. We take night vision technology and monitor objects in the atmosphere.
I got him.
This night we saw over 100 UFOs. We have a digital camera and then we put it on a screen. Those are things that we're tracking. Flying around. Does that look like a satellite to you? Yeah. Flapping around. We don't know if they're birds. They're 250 miles up in the atmosphere, so they can't be birds. This is in San Diego. Look at this object that we're tracking. Flashing.
I saw them spin around.
Some of them stop. See, he did a dead stop. So we move our camera. There he is right there. We have lasers. And this guy's take 90-degree turns. In order for us to be able to see an object at 250 miles up in the atmosphere, it has to be at least 2,000 or 3,000 feet long. That's how big it has to be. Look at these objects. They're flashing. Some of them group into one thing. They fly as armadas. They shoot lasers at each other. I can say with definitive proof something is up in the atmosphere. And it's not running on diesel, I bet you.
In space, nobody can
See
hear
those
you.
things that just suddenly go by? We had one night we saw over 100 objects. Like everything from light ship things that are translucent to solid saucer-looking things.
I got that one on tape, the one doing the turn.
Anyway, that was the UFO Night Watch program. We have a meetup called Night Vision Skywatch, and we encourage you to come and see some of this for yourself. I wanted first-hand proof of all of this, by the way. I didn't just take the word for it. I also go out and research technology and virtual reality, free energy, simulation. This is a virtual reality chamber that you can step into. And the idea is to have a virtual world that you can explore and break the laws of physics while you're in there. Walk in every direction. It's a little weird at first. I was like, whoa. You know? This is me on a crystal stage. It's like a harp. You go like that. And you're surrounded by crystal energy and 3D graphics. So you can see designers are taking it to a whole new level here. You can go into one of these devices. This is a Tesla coil system for healing. It generates a field of energy around your body, supposedly to realign your magnetic fields. Here I am with Professor Searle, the living Nikola Tesla. This is Russell Anderson working on inverse gravity discs. Fernando Morris, who has a lab right here in San Diego. This is one of the ships that they're working on right now. There's one of their magnetic drives, their prototype. Searle Magnetics is one of the most advanced teams on the planet right now building free energy technology. Professor Searle has assembled 41 flying discs starting in the 40s. He was shut down, sequestered, ridiculed. His wife left him, no money. That's how we treat our geniuses. He's still alive. He's 78, and he came to the United States to help us build this technology. So I've committed to finding ways of getting attention to all these researchers who are working on healing, build business models and business plans, help them above everybody else right now to get out there. We practice something called white ops instead of black operations. You heard of black ops in the military? Where they have black projects, they're secret. trillions of dollars, right? We want to have really cool, high-end entertainment and art, but in the background, we're supporting all these researchers in the labs, in their garages. This is being presented at Singularity University as we speak. We have an energy lab as part of the Center of Mass Creation, where we study free energy, zero-point energy, and over-unit energy. Global Health Lab, which has technologies like sonic Reiki. Do you know that we have decades of studies of how sound heals the body? We have a space lab. It's time to have a dialogue, because at the highest levels, there's no argument whether there's ETs or not. There's no arguments that ETs are here on Earth. They're moving forward with that knowledge that they are here, they've always been here, and there is no they. It is us. We're related. We're a family. And even though there's rogue things that we hear about, like abductions and so forth, that's not the majority of what's out there. I want to have a place, a platform where we can have that dialogue and talk about it openly, as scientists and engineers, as thinkers, without ridicule. Because whoever came here didn't arrive here on a tin can with liquid fuel. We also have a light lab planned where we can study the healing aspects of light, light as an energy system, light as a way to communicate with the universe. There's a water lab as part of the Center of Mass Creation, where we study the healing aspects of water. Water as an energy source and a computing device. Wouldn't it be cool if you could connect a monitor to the ocean and see what the ocean's telling you? Robotics lab. There's a whole new generation of artificial muscle systems, prosthetic limbs that are intelligent. Imagine being able to have somebody with no legs have a robot that helps them dance. And you can get dance moves that were recorded from the brain waves of salsa dancers. That technology is very real. Or athletes. An abundance lab to eradicate poverty once and for all. When I speak in front of groups, I move forward with the idea that there is no need to have the kind of lack that we experience on the planet. And if I speak to organizations, and I've spoken into groups, you can bet that, I am pushing for that balance of wealth on the planet. And there is science, and there's software, and there is techniques that governments can start deploying right now that doesn't cost trillions of dollars, so we can feed and clothe and educate and house the planet. Don't let that 7 billion population scare you. There's room. Accelerated learning labs. I have first-hand experience with projects like the Light Comet project. How fast kids can read an entire textbook. How amazingly they understand complex concepts. We don't give them enough credit. And I'll just go through some of these faster. 3D prototyping. How fast can you go from thought to holding something in your hand? Hours. The biomorphics lab, measuring how's your DNA functioning, how's your light body, your chakras, your Merkaba. I can't wait to go to a hospital that balances your energy. It's going to happen soon. Obviously, magnetics lab. Imagine going to Japan and being able to retrofit the nuclear power plants without something that is hazardous. And let me give you some interesting insight. The same technology that gives us free energy is the same technology that heals us, and it's the same technology that communicates with our galactic neighbors. The crystals, the water, the magnetics, the sound waves, the thought waves, all across the board. And then we have what's called the event horizon, which is the integration center, where we can mix and match modalities. So if we want to play with crystals and water to teach accelerated learning, if we want to mix magnetics And maybe sound, to have inverse gravity, we need a place to do it. No more secret labs. And it can be a teaching facility. And many of you might have seen my video that I did a quick overview online on this. I want to build this right here in my home in San Diego. Wouldn't it be cool to have a center of mass creation? I think it would just completely change the thinking. And this goes on, talk about the employment, the international exposure, or all the different benefits this kind of thinking can bring about. So one of the invites I had from the Conscious Entrepreneur Group, Kyle, we want to help in building those conscious business plans and how to unfold this technology so it doesn't disrupt so much of what's out there, and so we can get support. It's important. I'm not interested in taking over and just forcing it down people's throats. I'm interested in harmonizing with what's out there. Whether I'm speaking to a group of 1,000 people, which I have before, or 2, which I have before too, teenagers, kids, is that each one of us is an engine of mass creation. So in closing, I want to teach you a mantra that I invented. You say this to yourself 3 times. It creates a vortex of manifestation around you. So I will just say it for you. I am an engine of mass creation. I am the center of mass creation. I'm an engine of mass creation. I am the center of mass creation. I'm an engine of mass creation. I'm the center of mass creation. I'm an engine of mass creation. I'm the center of mass creation. Thank you.